I'm Julia, and welcome to the brand new business podcast. Can you tell everybody who you are and what it is that you do, please?
Hi, Trudy. It's absolutely great to be here today. So, my name's Julia Brightman, and I have a business called Creme Brulee. So, I am an events and catering consultant, and I also have a biscuit gifting line with a unique branding tool.
And how long have you been in business for?
5.5 years now. I can't believe it. Yeah, yeah.
And we first met networking, didn't we, back in
We
catering,
did.
busy
Yeah.
women.
Yes.
So-
And the ready to grow workshops as well. So.
Oh, yes, when we were all trying to get those non-existent grants.
Yeah. Exactly. But it didn't stop any of us. So
No, quite. In terms of your business and when you started, why did you start your business?
well, kind of the thing that I'd had a corporate career for nearly 30 years, working in the civil service. You never ever know what is round the corner from you because I'd assumed that I was going to be there. It was going to be a job for life because when you've been there that long, you feel like you're part of the furniture.
Yeah.
But I literally one day discovered a lump in my breast and was then diagnosed with cancer. It went on to be more extensive, and unfortunately, I had a very unsupportive employer. You would think it would be the opposite, but unfortunately, after literally just a few months, they dismissed me for unsatisfactory attendance due to being off sick, having chemo. So, yeah, I had to sit no.
Unbelievable.
They just went ahead and did it, and it put me obviously jobless. I was ill, I couldn't work, and I went to claiming benefits rather than paying it out, and had on top of that pretty much like a nervous breakdown, really, because of a combination of all of those things.
So after 30 years of working for them,
Yeah,
you then and they knew you had breast cancer. They knew you had breast cancer
yeah,
and that you were having chemo and
yeah,
they sacked you basically. They
yeah. They
or
said work. I went from having sort of like a stage 1 cancer to having a stage 3 cancer, a very aggressive one, and I needed the strongest chemo you could possibly have. And let me assure you, I couldn't work. If I could have done, I'd have gone. But when you can't even get out of bed some days because you feel so ill. But actually, I can look on it positively now because they did me the biggest favour in my life.
yeah, that's not the end of the story. First
No,
of all, you beat cancer. Yeah.
yes, beat cancer, and I sort of as I started to feel a bit better, I'd always loved baking. And just one Friday afternoon, I thought it's just been absolutely pants. And I thought, I'm going to make a cake for my kids for when they come home from school. Then I thought, what else could I make? So I made some little sandwiches and sausage rolls, and I didn't even have a cake stand, anything. So I literally just set up what I had in the kitchen. I popped a note on the front door saying, tea rooms are open, come through, there's one table left in the kitchen. They loved it. Chatted about it with my friends. They loved it, wanted to come round for afternoon tea, and one or two did. People started giving me china. My sister got married, and I did some of her wedding parts of her afternoon tea. And I just thought, actually, with a bit of encouragement from friends and family, I have nothing to lose because I had no job. So if it was a disaster, it really didn't matter. But I just felt I had to do, well, I couldn't just sit there. I had to do something. And I wanted to just show that I wasn't worthless and that I felt like I've been just discarded and put on the scrap heap and humiliated by the whole dismissal process. So 5.5 years ago, Creme Brulee was born. And here I am.
Yeah, like risen from the ashes almost. Like
Yeah,
you were taken down to the lowest ebb, and
yeah,
then your strength of character, basically, your fight, not only to beat cancer,
absolutely.
but to be someone, to do
Yeah.
something you were passionate about.
I felt very, very angry for a long period of time.
Mm.
And that anger just initially got me going. It gave me the fire to just say, no, hang on here. I'm here and I'm still here. And I can do something. I can show people that I can do something.
Oh, good for you. I've got goosebumps now. I'm like, come on, Julia. I mean, and
I don't give
you're
I
such a
don't give
gentle
in.
person.
I know, but it's just sometimes you just literally it was completely life-changing for me.
Thing that people don't know is just how wonderful and kind-hearted and giving that you are as a person. You know, you would literally
Mm,
give your last penny that you had to somebody else who needed it. That's
well, I would.
the
I
kind of
would.
person that
I
you are.
would because, I just it's, my business, yes, I need a certain amount of money to make a living, but it's so much more than that to me because it's my confidence, my self-esteem, and the most important thing for me about when I do an event is I like to see people enjoying my food because that puts the biggest smile on my face, and time is the most precious thing. Like, people sort of say to me, "Oh, what can you do?" And, what do people want for their birthday when they get to like 60, 70, 80? What do they want? Do they want another ornament? No, they want time. They want your time, family time, friends time, because that's the most precious gift of all, to actually do something with them and enjoy something. Because
Yeah.
an afternoon tea, it's a social event, and I want to make it a really memorable dining experience. So it's got to be truly special.
So COVID must have completely rocked your world.
Totally, totally. I honestly thought I was completely finished because I had just got to the point, and I see that's like the sort of the. I almost felt like it served me right because I just started to think to myself, yeah, things are going great. I've turned the corner of all of this, and I'd got loads of bookings in the diary, and then COVID came along and slapped me down. And literally within 48 hours, my whole diary had completely emptied. And I sort of sat there and I just thought, well, what do I do? I applied for the government grant. And because my business at that point had been going for less than 3 years, obviously it was based over 3 years as self employed, I got £108 total. So I sat there and I just thought, what do I do? And of
Oh,
course, I was shielding because I was still classed as a vulnerable person. So I couldn't just go out and get a job. And in the end, like, my daughter said to me, she just passed the driving test, and she said, "Mummy, if you want to do some baking, I'll go and deliver it for you." And she did. And that's how it all started. And then after I just got my confidence a bit more, I actually just thought, "Do you know what? I'm going to get in the car, I'll drive, and then she could just jump in and out." And it was incredibly hard, but actually it was incredibly satisfying. And I survived COVID. There were some really special moments as part of that because obviously I did delivered lots of surprise treats and things. And when you get somebody that comes to the door and it's their birthday, they're on their own, and their family have sent them a little afternoon tea, and they're crying and they're just so happy
oh,
that, and for this particular one, I actually also delivered to two other parts of her family, her son and her daughter. They'd got their own family unit. So I delivered to like three places. And then I gave her a little envelope which had the details on it for Zoom. So they
oh,
had an afternoon tea over Zoom
together.
together. And yeah, so it just makes me happy.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that is the thing with you as well. I mean, you always go the extra mile. You always kind of put in those little touches of kindness and
But that's what it's all about. It's about making it special. Yeah, I'm just totally passionate about it because the most important thing is that everybody has an amazing meal and has a good time. And I take flowers along, I'll take extra biscuits and bits and pieces, and I will work to people's budget.
I always used to love it at networking when you used to come along, you would always come along with scones or biscuits or
Yeah.
whatever it was. And
And your favourite, the strawberry topped cake.
oh my God, the strawberry top cake. Unbelievably amazing.
Yes. I thought you were gonna eat it all yourself, but
I could have, I probably could have, if I wasn't getting elbowed out of the way by 10 or 15 other ladies, all vying for the biggest
I think you
strawberry.
had height on your side, Trudy.
That's true, that's true. I'd always
Oh,
find the short nippy ones and nip underneath.
yes, this is true. This is true.
So along the way, I mean, so in the very beginning, how tough was it when you started your business?
It was really, really tough because, of course, I didn't have loads of money, and I started my business on literally a shoestring, really, because, as I said earlier on, I didn't even have a cake stand. I had one tablecloth. That was it. I now have like, I don't think I've actually dare count them. And just literally just like one china, bit by bit of china, bit by bit, charity shops, people giving me bits and pieces. I've got enough cups and saucers and plates now to feed about 300 people. So yeah, but it literally, I had to invest like literally everything back into the business. I made some good decisions. I made some bad decisions.
Mm.
I had an event that was literally for people to turn up on the door, and I was promised by the organisers that there would be about 150 people. So I literally catered for 150 people, but actually there were 23. That was 6 months into my business. So I literally, I had my daughter with me. It'd been like a team effort. My husband and my son had come and helped set up as well. And literally, it really, really devastated me. And I drove home with my daughter in the car, and I don't cry that often, but I had tears rolling down my face. And I just said to my daughter, "That's it." I said, "I'm finished. I am finished because I can't see how I can recover from this." Because literally, I was hundreds of pounds out of pocket from that. And I had loads of leftover food, but I took a load of it to a homeless project in town. One of my daughter's friends was doing a charity thing to raise money to go and help build a school in Africa. So I gave them a lot of the food and things, and then just bit by bit crawled back from it really. And it just gave me a massive lesson in that I have to really investigate things, and if need to be, take a deposit from people. So
Deposit's always a good idea. I mean, I found that out
yeah.
pretty early on
Mm,
because a deposit isn't just about covering your cost, but taking money from
mm,
somebody is a commitment, a real solid,
yes.
tangible commitment that yes, I want it, and
Mm,
yes, the work will transpire. Because just going on trust, as we've probably both discovered, probably
yeah.
very early on in our businesses, that
Mm.
just going on trust is a fool's errand, really.
Yeah, I've always found that it's people I've least expected
Mm,
that are the people that have let me down. Yeah, life's lessons learned, that I make everybody pay a deposit now because it's a commitment. It's just,
yeah,
you know, to
yeah,
show that actually are definitely wanting this. But like in COVID, with COVID, what happened was no one's fault. I gave all my clients their deposits back,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
it didn't feel right to me, to keep them. So, and the goodwill you've got to, because how are people going to come back to you?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, so many people lost so much money when it was.
Mm,
But I love your determination. I love the fact that, you kind of you could have rolled over at that point, and I don't know what you could have done, but you didn't. You said, "Well, you know what? This is my job. This is
yeah.
my future. It's my present. So how can I put
Yeah.
a spin on it?" And so many people did pivot. Some people pivoted
Yeah.
into whole new directions, but yours was
Yeah.
just like a very clever
I
sort of
took some part-time work
sideways maneuver.
at one point. I took some part-time work as well,
Yeah.
doing, because I am a qualified counsellor. So I was doing some advice and job support with some clients over the phone. So just to keep enough money coming in.
I think
Uh,
that's really important actually as a business owner to not be too proud to say,
mm,
okay, this is a rough point. I'm not going to throw in the towel, but what can I do to supplement?
yeah, yeah,
I mean, lots
exactly.
of people do things like they sell tropics skincare ranges, or they
Yeah,
do a sort of side hustle, don't they? And I
yeah,
think
I
there's
do.
no shame in that. There's no sense of giving
No.
up. It's just like, I need something else for now.
Yes, yes.
I was
definitely.
talking to one of my friends. She's a business coach, and she's an amazing business coach as well. And she was having a bit of a hard time in the early days. She said, "Right, I'm going to go and get a job as a Tesco's delivery driver."
Yes.
And basically, she never did because she didn't need to, but she always did have a
Mm,
plan B. What
yes.
if?
Yeah, my daughter did. Well, not delivery driving, but she actually was an order picker. She used to start work at 3 in the morning and
Wow.
go and pick people shopping.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you've got the determination that, you do what you have to do to get through that period of time, but you learn so much from all of these things, not just for your business, but about yourself and what you can do. So,
And what you
mm,
are capable of, and
yeah,
you have to be passionate, I think. I mean,
totally.
you just said to me that, you always wanted to be this. This was your kind of dream job when you left
Yeah,
school, but it
yeah,
took you 30 years of working in the civil service
yeah. I
to
know,
work it
I
out.
know. But yeah, it's just bizarre that, yeah, when I left school at 16, I went for a job interview at a school and it was going to be working in a school kitchen. And I really wasn't a confident person at that point, and I was very incredibly shy. You'd never know now, would you?
You
But,
would, I think, you would.
yeah,
You're,
literally, I looked around this kitchen and it was just like really scary stuff. And I just thought, no, I can't do this. Can't do this. And so I took an office job instead and set me down the civil service trail. And yeah, and then 30 years later, I'm back to it, doing what I love doing because I do. I just love baking. I love all of the planning of an event and with my biscuits side, my gifting side, I love all of that of putting together people's dreams, their ideas, and just making it happen. It's just there's no better buzz for it.
no, and I've seen your spreads, like the photos that you put out on social media. Oh my God, all the beautiful, beautiful sandwiches and the cakes and the sausage
Yeah.
rolls and the boxes of whatever, whether it's vegan,
Mm,
vegetarian, full
yeah.
on
Yeah.
cakes,
I'm so passionate
whatever.
about everybody having the same dining experience that
Mm.
I do my research to make sure that I get for like anybody that's got any allergies or dietary needs that they get an incredible spread as well. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And your determination to create such a massive, such a brilliant experience for people is great. So,
Mm,
in terms of working as a civil servant and doing your day job versus doing your catering job,
yes.
how how do you compare the two?
Well, there are, I would say that being in the civil service gave me a very, very good grounding in routine, making lists, preparation is key. And I mean, I used to do a lot of planning and diary organization. With that background, it does then give you a really good grasp of being organized. That's key. And that's a key skill that I've carried forward. And obviously, again, in my career in the civil service, I dealt with people from all walks of life. Some people that had lots and lots of problems, some people that really didn't need very much help. But I always treated everybody individually. And because of that, I suppose it makes me passionate about customer service and being present. And for every event, that I am there to do whatever it takes to make it a success. I cater for a lot of funerals, and they're all very personal experiences because I get to know the families, but I want to make it about the person whose life we're celebrating.
Mm,
Um, I want it to be about them. So I ask what their favourite colours are because I do like flowers for the tables. Some of their favourite cakes are and that because quite often it's really nice because you've got something there it might take you back to a memory of that person, something you've done with them. Yeah, it's got to be personal.
yeah, beautiful. And in terms of your lifestyle now, how do you find being self-employed?
It is very, very busy. It is very, very busy. Obviously, I'm probably, my own worst enemy because obviously I want things to be perfect and they've got to be. So yeah, I do on, like, when there is an event coming up, I will work incredibly long hours, because to me it's just so important to put the groundwork in.
What's your work-life balance like?
Well, as I said, when there are events on, and over the summer, I mean, I worked literally from January through to September without having a holiday. But then I've been on lovely holidays in September. So no, it's with hospitality, it is very much you've got to work when the demand is. But when I'm not quite so in demand, it's nice because I can do clean down in the kitchens, update all my policies. I can get out and do more networking, because networking and talking to other people is so key. I've gained so much through it, and and also being able to collaborate with other people with what they do or products that they do, and using them as part of my offering as well
Mm.
is absolutely great.
What would you say is the thing that has produced the best results in terms of marketing?
Well, it's funny actually, because I'm getting a really good presence on LinkedIn,
Yay!
getting a really, really good presence. And,
Mm.
I'm starting to get regular work through LinkedIn. And like people say, oh, well, you shouldn't keep posting things all the time. But I just think actually
Who
it's not.
says that? Who says that?
Yeah, people,
Nobody says that.
they do,
Show me
honestly.
them.
Yeah, honestly. And that, but like, I had a lady that followed me for 2 years on LinkedIn. And I do a lot of work with a charitable boat that goes up and down the river. And she happened to see one of my posts, and it was her 60th birthday, and it was her ruby wedding anniversary. So she contacted me and she said, what could you do for me? So I arranged a private hire with the boat company, and literally took over the whole boat and created her vision of how she wanted her party to be. And literally, what nobody else knew as well, I knew. There was only one other person knew, and that was the celebrant that was on board, because they also renewed their vows for their wedding as well. So it actually was an incredible experience. But I met her through LinkedIn. So it's
Yeah.
like a little, I've called it, one my little write up about it, I've called it When Julia Met Mel, a little LinkedIn love story. Because it is, I absolutely adore this lady. She's in hospitality, she's in catering as well.
Fab.
So she's very particular about what she wants, about her vision of how she wanted her event to be, and
Mm.
what she wanted there. So, but because of that, I wanted it to be perfect.
Going back to that point, who says you post too much? Who?
A couple of people that I network with, they say to me, "Oh,
No.
spend time on social media," and I'm just like, "No, no, 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 no."
I think
So,
this is a really important point for people listening, actually,
yeah.
that people get some funny ideas about
Mm,
how often you should post on social media, and
mm,
how often is too often, and how often is not enough.
mm,
And people do get hung up on people who post too often. So I post on
mm,
LinkedIn every day, Monday to Friday. So you'll
yeah.
find me there every day.
Mm.
Nobody's ever said to me you post too much on LinkedIn. Never.
People do, but I'm sorry, but to me, it works,
It
because
works. It
I did,
absolutely
I d-
works.
yeah, I did a wedding earlier in the year. Somebody that I was connected with was connected with someone else, and their friend liked their connection, liked my picture that I put up of this wedding spread. Now,
Mm,
it just so happened that this friend of friend had proposed to his girlfriend and just got engaged, and they were looking round at what to do for their wedding.
mm,
So he contacted me, and he said, I've seen your pictures on there. I see, our mutual friend liked it. And that's exactly what I want for my wedding. He said, would you come and talk to me and my fiance? So I
yes.
did.
Of course.
Literally, I go along. I don't charge anything for consultations. I take along a full afternoon tea spread for them to sit there and enjoy. And they literally, I think they had probably the sandwiches and sausage rolls. And she turned around and she went, this is perfect. Shall I pay you a deposit now? I'll
Yes.
sign on the dotted line.
Yes.
And she's like,
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much.
so you can imagine next year when they get married, I am going to be shouting about it on LinkedIn.
Oh God, yeah. I love seeing all of your posts on LinkedIn and hearing all the little stories of everybody whose experiences you've been making and everything. So
Yeah.
to those people who say, "Oh, you're on LinkedIn too much," up
Mm.
yours basically, I would say
Yeah.
to that. Get
To-
on there. Stop cribbing about other people and get on there
yeah.
yourself.
I know. I know. I mean, I don't post like my dinner each day on there.
No.
I
Yeah,
want-
there's such a thing as oversharing. But, you know, professional posts going out daily, that's just business. That's just good
yeah.
marketing.
Well,
And
it
that's
is,
what I'd
isn't it?
say about branding is
Yeah.
about consistency, about recognition, about
Mm.
getting your message out there, about people understanding exactly who you are, what you do, how you do
Yeah.
it. And all of this is
Mm.
just creating a personal brand for you or business brand for you that
Yeah.
people know, like, and trust. You know, they see
Mm.
you all the time and you're going to be front of mind. There, I can't
Yes.
see anything wrong
Tell
with
you
that.
what, Trudy, with my 3D design service for the biscuits, I have got to do your logo.
You have.
I've got to produce your logo in a biscuit.
I know we've said this for so many years, but I just,
Now I can do it with the use of the 3D technology.
yeah, the
Am
bird.
I'm going to take your logo and I'm
Would
going
you
to
be
make
able to do
it a
the
biscuit.
logo lady one?
Yeah, yeah,
Really? So it gets quite complex then.
yeah.
God.
Don't matter. Don't matter.
I know.
No
I just
technology.
for me, it's
Technology.
always about having the time to organise things. I was thinking actually
Yes.
about Christmas this year. I've got some
Mm,
particularly great clients who I think
yeah.
to do something, and then
Yeah.
that thought kind of drifts away while I'm on to the next thing and the
Yeah.
next thing.
Wow. I'm literally nearly full for December for people that are having logo biscuits. They're having them done as part of gift packages. So they're having things like a little individual Christmas cake. They're having tiffin, shortbread, gingerbread.
Oh
You know
wow!
it. They're having pickles and chutneys. I have a lady that I'm collaborating with that her pickles are coming in my boxes, and she's called In a Sticky Pickle. I mean, what a fabulous name she's got. And yeah,
And that's the other thing about one of the things that you've already mentioned in this interview, that collaborations has been a really great
yeah,
asset to you in your business.
yes, totally, totally. So yeah, so I met Karen, who's in a sticky pickle. I only met her quite recently. Products are coming into mine as part of
Yeah,
a very
and it is
special.
those collaborations that can be really great for your business if you find somebody who can complement your business. So
Yeah.
for me, I mean, I collaborate with web designers all the time. One in particular,
Mm,
so I'm doing the design, he's doing the build, the web build. I work with creative agencies and
mm,
writers and various
yeah.
other people, and we then support and complement and refer to each other and even other designers, in the same
Yeah.
boat as me. There's
Yeah.
got to be a
Mm.
network. Building your network is so important.
Oh, massive. It's absolutely massive. I mean, I have great relationships with other people that are in the catering hospitality industry. And, yeah, we are competitors, but actually, there's enough room there for us all.
Mm.
And there are certain things I can't do, and vice versa.
That's the
And
thing, isn't it?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you think you're competitors, but when you look at your nuances, you
yes.
realize that actually you each have your own strengths and
Mm,
your own weaknesses, or the
yeah,
ways that you complement each other and can
yeah,
support.
yeah.
And is
Mm,
competition is not something
no,
to be
no.
feared. So
No, I mean,
competition is something to
most
be
of my
encouraged.
work comes through like recommendations and that kind of thing, and LinkedIn. So you've got to get out there and be seen.
I have had one bad experience on LinkedIn though with a connection who was also a graphic designer, because I was all a bit like, there's no such thing as competition, there's room for everybody, blah blah blah. Anyway, so sometimes I get connection requests from graphic designers and I think, yeah, okay, fine, that's fine.
Mm,
But then this one guy was looking at my posts, seeing who had commented on them, and then messaging them individually and
Oh,
saying, you know, don't work with her, work with me, basically.
oh
And he
no.
said it to one of my clients. This is how I found out. And
Yeah.
she messaged me. She said, "This guy has just come to me and said this." And I thought, cheeky git. So yeah, I unfriended him pretty quick,
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
disconnected.
I
But
bet.
yeah, I don't think so, pal.
Yes, yes, I've had a few that
Mm.
I've
So there's good and bad in everything, but
no, it is very much about getting yourself out there. So
mm,
yeah, I'm
I
on
know.
the NatWest acceleration program. So I'm looking to take my business up another level.
Where you going? Where you going with this, Julia?
Well, um, I've recently redeveloped my pitch of what I'm looking for. I'm looking at, because at the moment I work from home, but obviously I have my own separate kitchens, and office area, but I've completely outgrown that.
Wow.
The creme brulee will be going solo with its own premises, hopefully in the new year.
Woohoo!
Yeah, yeah, and with more staff.
Wow.
And yeah, and obviously building on the gifting and biscuiting range, and also teaching. So
Oh.
I'm hoping to have in the unit an area where I can teach basic cookery skills, because there is a massive area out there that people that just cannot cook a simple meal.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to have, whether it be a group of young adults, whether it's, mother and daughter, father and son, all of that kind of thing, that people can come and embrace that, tell me what they want, and I'll help them learn.
And do you think that this was something you envisioned right from the start? Was this like part of the original plan, or is this unfolding in new and
This
exciting
is
ways as you go?
most definitely unfolding. Most definitely unfolding. I've got like a trainee at the moment, and I used to do again a lot of training in the civil service, and over the years I have learnt to be a much more patient and tolerant person. And I do enjoy, teaching people and showing people how to learn how to do something.
Mm,
I've got an autistic brother, and he just can't cook at all. And, just trying to get him to be able to do like basic things. And I've done some like volunteering and that with some children's activities and adult activities. And it's very, very obvious that there are so many people out there who don't fully understand about nutrition, and just being able to cook themselves or their family
mm.
a meal.
And it's interesting, isn't it, how your career path becomes unwinding road, essentially. It's not
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
a straight line.
No,
And
no.
you can't even envisage right at the very beginning exactly how it's going to
I
end
never
up.
envisaged that I would be where I am now. I never envisaged it. And obviously, once I've got all of my unit and all of those things up and running,
Mm.
ultimately, I'm going to be looking that I will franchise my business as well.
Ooh.
Mm. I have locations picked out,
Yeah.
potential locations that are picked out already, that I've researched. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What-
Why not? The world is your oyster. And, that is the entrepreneurial spirit, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well,
To
it's with virtually nothing. I started my business, and, so yeah, I just carry on my journey, because, I just see I've got lots of things I still want to do and learn and try, and
it's
yeah,
exciting. It's
it
exciting.
is.
And
It is.
at the end of the day, the only limit that we have are the ones we put on ourselves. I really
Yes.
believe that.
Yeah. I mean, I can honestly say I was totally stressed out and bogged down by my job in the civil service. I put in 150% into that job. I worked, I don't know how many extra hours in that, and I just felt tired, drained, and exhausted. Well, here we are several years down the line, but I actually feel younger now. I feel 10 years younger than what I did 10 years ago. So,
Mm.
it's why would I not continue?
Yay, go Julia.
So, I'm just going to go for it because if you don't try these things, you never know.
I love that. The fact that actually you feel younger, more excited and
Yeah,
more alive and all
yeah,
of those things because you started your own business, because you were brave enough to go out there and just do it, the thing that you wanted.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the first networking meeting that I went to, I had to get up and stand and talk about myself for a minute.
Yeah.
It's a good job they didn't tell me I'd got to do that because I would have run a mile. I would have
Mm.
run a mile. But I mean, now you can't shut me up.
It's true. The things that seem so daunting at the start become
Mm,
so easy a little way down the line.
yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Just taking those first steps, it is so hard. And I think the key thing for me is don't ever be afraid to ask somebody for some advice or help.
Mm.
Show you're human, and we can't always get it right. As I said, I've made quite a few mistakes along the way, but I won't do them again.
That's the thing. You fall forwards. That's
Mm,
what we all do. We fail, we get back up, and it's not a fail. It's just falling forwards.
yes,
You
yeah,
learn your lessons, you take them with you, you carry
mm,
on, you get
yeah,
better.
yeah. Well, you've always inspired me because you are so passionate about what you do.
Hmm.
You are, and it just shines out. You do.
Thank you, thank
You're,
you. But I mean, the same right back at you, babe, because I mean, anybody watching this interview is going to see the passion, your passion, the love and the care and the everything that you feel that comes out. And yeah,
yeah,
I'm just the same as you, really. I love what I do, and I love the fact that it brings so much joy to people.
yes, yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like when you design someone's branding, and you just, girl, you nail it, absolutely nail
Hmm.
it, and
Probably
yeah,
for
it's
exactly the same reason that you nail it every time, though, is because I take the time to listen, because I
yes,
take the time to understand and
mm,
talk and get to
yeah,
the real thing behind what it is that people do and why they do it and how they do it.
yeah. Well,
Same.
literally, like you come up with it, and even they don't know it. What, but
No,
when they see what you've done with their branding, they're like, "Why didn't I think of that?" Yeah, it just hits you in the face.
thank
So,
you. Thank you. And I mean, interestingly, let's just talk about branding for a second. So, in the startup phase, for any business, money's tight. Not everybody can
yeah,
afford to go to a logo lady for their £500 logo. Some people just
mm.
don't have it. So, I mean, you were one of those. Where did you get your logo done, or were you one of those? I can't even remember
No,
now.
I didn't have £500. I didn't, because I
No.
literally started with sort of like nothing,
Mm.
and literally, I could decide on a business name, and I can't take the credit for it because my daughter came up with my business name because I was playing around with all sorts of ideas, and obviously I was thinking of doing like afternoon teas, cream teas, so that's where the creme bit came from. My son, bless his heart, he is just a little diamond. I'm so unsavvy with technology, and he said, "Oh look, Mum, I'll help you," because I thought about like getting some business cards done, and he researched on the internet, and he actually bought the rights to the picture that I have, the tumbling teacups,
Yeah.
and literally used that and tried to improve the image as much as he could. So yeah, that's what I started with.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have had you to do all my branding, but I just didn't have
No.
any money.
And the thing is, it's turned out really, really well. There's not a right
Mm,
or wrong way to do this. And I'm not ever going to be the person who says, like, oh, you have to go down the route of seeing a graphic designer or you're
yeah.
screwed kind of thing. Because, people do what they have to do. They
Yes.
sometimes don't make a great job of it. Sometimes they can make an amazing job of it. And I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
great job of it. Some people don't make such a great job of it, but
Mm,
yours is particularly lovely. I mean, it just kind of just does reflect who you are and what you do with the beautiful
Yeah,
sort of vintagey type teacups that are
yeah,
toppling over. It's like it's not too formal, it's all very friendly and
yeah,
warm, and it kind of does embody everything about you.
yeah. So I have a lot to thank my kids for.
Mm, yeah. Good kids, good kids.
Yeah.
Thank you, son.
Well, they're much better with technology than what I am. That's where it started because obviously I made afternoon tea for them. So
What's been funny about these interviews, so some people have been very much need to get their ducks in a row and been very
mm,
organized and efficient and spent months preparing. Other people have like literally launched and then worried about everything else afterwards and to do it. There's so many ways to launch your business. So
yeah, yeah,
either you do it on a shoestring and work it out as you go along,
yeah,
or you work
yeah.
it all out right up front and tweak and amend as you go along. It's an interesting ride, and there is never a right or a wrong, but
No,
you got
no.
to do what you got to do. And I think
Mm,
the key thing is to follow your passion. Because look at us, look at us. Well, how
yeah,
passionate me and Julia about what we do. We are like
yeah.
loving life,
I
loving
absolutely love what I do, and and when it's all goes from when I talk to the person, they book, I create their menus, it's then made. We set all of the tables with the foods all out. It's looking nice and
life.
special, and people arrive and they sit down, and you can hear those lovely noises. They're like, and yeah, and yeah, it just
Amazing.
spreads joy,
Yeah,
and
it's
I might
brilliant.
feel absolutely shattered when I go home, but it's a happy feeling.
Yeah,
Mm.
and it's all yours. You did this.
Yes, yes. So it's all mine.
So Julia, if people want to work with you, how do they get in contact with you?
So they can get in contact with me by my website, so www.cremebrulee.co.uk.
And how are you spelling creme brulee? I mean, if this will be in the show notes, but just for anybody who's listening on the hoof,
Yeah, so it's CREMEBREWLAIT. So
.co.uk.
co.uk. Obviously, I'm on LinkedIn under Julia Brightman. I'm on Facebook and Instagram under Creme Brulee.
Where do you service? What areas do you work?
I do basically roughly an hour's travelling distance from base, which is Bedford. So that encompasses Beds, Northants, Bucks, Herts, Cams. But of course, if people would like me to go further and they will pay me to go further, the world is
Exactly.
my
What are we
oyster.
thinking? The south of France,
Well,
Biarritz, maybe?
yeah, yeah, exactly. I would happily go wherever. Somebody pays for my flight, I'll be
Yeah,
gone.
absolutely. I think this could open many doors.
Yes, well, I don't rule out in the future that my franchise may
Oh, oh
cross
yeah,
cross the ocean.
absolutely. Why
I
not?
do on occasion send biscuits to America and places like that.
Anyone, anywhere with the right budget,
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
you
that's
can have her.
paid for my business class flight, of course.
Oh yeah, got to be business class, hey. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Julia. It's been amazing to talk to you, and then I love your passion. I love your enthusiasm, and I love the fact that out of some really bad shit that you went through has
Yeah,
come this amazing, fruitful, wonderful business that makes you happy and makes so many other people happy too. Well done.
thank you so much. I just love what I do, and yeah, I'm just incredibly lucky. I really, really am that I've had a second chance to do something that I want to do. Thank you.
Thank you.